Hi, Anna, can you set Yeah. Hello everybody. Snake, you come. Bessie. Welcome everybody to another session of KMA Young Minds. There are a lot of familiar faces, a couple of new faces also. As you all know, at KMA Young Minds, what we do is we bring in people who do interesting stuff and who are ready to go out of their way and think out of the box. So today we have one such speaker with us who is the founder of French Toast, Ayaz Salim. French Toast, as you all know, is a name which has popularized the cafe culture in Kochi and in Kerala. So a little bit about our speaker before we begin our session. French Toast, of course, is a brand none of us needs any introduction to. We have had multiple breakfasts and brunches here, and it has become a part of cafe culture in Kerala. A place to have great food, meet people, create Instagram-worthy moments, and at times even finish off some work. Today, we have with us the person behind it all, Mr. Ayaz Salim. Ayaz's story begins long before French Toast. He grew up between Kerala and Dubai, completed his bachelor's degree in business in Dubai, and started his career in advertising in 2002. Nearly a decade later, in 2011, he made the decision to return to Kerala with one clear goal, to build something of his own. That vision took shape as French Toast, which has since become one of Kochi's most loved and recognizable cafe brands. Along the way, he has also established FD Farms, reinforcing the brand's emphasis on freshness and thoughtful sourcing. Ayaz combines creativity with practicality and has a deep understanding of what customers value. And that blend is what we look forward to exploring today. We're delighted to have him with us to share his journey, his learnings, and his perspective. Please join me in welcoming Ayaz and welcoming our chair, Nivedit, who will lead the conversation.
Yeah. Hi guys. Okay. So don't worry, this is one-sided. That's why it seems this long. It was double-sided. It's just a couple of pages. Usually I'm the one asking the questions. This is why I am here right now, because I can get into it directly. And I know we just met, but I've sort of been stalking you online for a couple of days now, just to learn better your journey and how you built French Toast, how you've been scaling it, and how you shaped Kochi's cafe culture. Yeah. So I kind of remember the first time I went to the Center Cross, the house that you had started off in. I was 12 years old. And I remember feeling like a really cozy vibe. You had cupcakes in front, pastry set, only seen elsewhere. Do you miss that house?
No.
No? What does that space mean though? Because you were really set up there.
I don't miss it because the reason I moved out is because it has become too small and too difficult to operate there. But yeah, I mean, for nostalgia's sake, yes. It was the second outlet that we set up. It was, the first one was in Palur.
You sort of came to Kochi with the dream of a beach shack, but then you moved to a patisserie. How did that happen?
Uh,
This is all from a blog from 2014. I think, I don't know if you remember, you had met somebody called Rachel and she put up this blog online where she had interviewed you. And you had mentioned this there.
I honestly, I just kind of sum up this French toast journey. Wasn't really. I was in advertising and I was a consultant. And in 2007 or 2008 was like, I was at the peak of my career, and it was really getting too difficult in Dubai because life was hectic. So I decided I have to move back for slowing down basically. But I thought I'd set up an agency here and not like get into food. But there were a lot of personal reasons that this was supposed to be taken up by my ex-wife, and because we couldn't survive the marriage, somebody had to kind of take over French toast and kind of make it theirs and then start running it. So that was me. I didn't plan for.
So your father being in the FMCG industry didn't really influence?
Yeah, it influenced. Honestly, I didn't really have too much respect for this cafe business, because I was like, okay, what is like how much money do you make out of this? It seems like very nonsensical to me. So love and money are two different things, right? You say you're passionate about mountaineering till you actually see the mountain, and then you're like, okay, I don't want to do this. So that is what business was for me. But well, it's a tough question.
How did your family take it when you told them you're going to stay back to run this cafe?
My family were very supportive, because like my dad and mom, for them that meant that I'd be staying in Kerala, which is like closer to them, right? So, but it's not easy, because I don't come from a family that has we're not entrepreneurs in our family. So it's when your work, like when your dad's literally earns money working for somebody, right? They're very scared to take decisions. Even today, I think like my folks think that I'm crazy for doing the things that I'm doing. So that way, like if my dad had done business and if he was a businessman, probably would understand me better. Right? So
does the advertising world call you back still? At least parts of it?
It's a lot of fun. Like advertising, at least when I was working in it, it was huge fun. Like I used to specialize in luxury brands, so photo shoots, and it was very glamorous. A lot of money involved, a lot of so that would be nice.
And this was in Dubai, right?
It was in Dubai, yeah. So it was.
So lifestyle was nice, except for the corona.
It was excellent. Like I still go back every once in a while to Dubai just to meet old friends and connect. But I don't long to go back there. I enjoy it when I go. It's a lot of fun. But I think I'm sort of content here.
Okay.
I'm okay.
What did this is a tough question because you have to really think back. But what did life feel like the first week you were in Kochi?
There you go.
These are all the curveballs.
It really, I think for the longest time, right, I thought it was a really bad decision. Coming back here, not for anything else, because the moment I came here the first week, my insight was that this is an extremely toxic society, and it's going to suck the blood out of me. So, that really scared me, and because till then I was a consultant and I had this mentality that whatever situation we deal with it, but this really scared me, and so yeah.
I don't want to get more into understanding what you think of the society.
No.
It's fine. It's a safe space.
No.
But like you said, this is an industry where even people say like you only get into it if you're really passionate about it, because it really takes somebody who's passionate to do it. But I think you sort of in a sense proved that wrong also, being an MBA to.
No, you have to be passionate, but I wasn't ready for it, and I basically had to do it because there was a lot of money, both mine and my dad's money, was stuck in the business. So you have to figure out a way to turn that around. Otherwise,
Did the MBA help in any way?
yeah. MBA helped in the sense, and when I say MBA, I am learning. I think when I was working in advertising and branding, there was a lot of reference that you had to do to textbooks like consumer behavior or strategic brand management. When you're doing presentation decks or when you're explaining a concept to a client, right? So that way there was a lot of learning, and then MBA had really a few good teachers. So that kind of how it helped is it helped me understand that there is structure to this madness. Because when you're doing business, it's madness, right? And you're like, oh my God, is there any hope? So in MBA they tell you that okay, this is what it is, Maslow's hierarchy, BCG matrix. So then all those things start becoming, making sense. And I was on the top.
What did running a kitchen teach you that MBA couldn't have?
I think it's a spiritual process, and I'm not kidding, because the most difficult bit of running a industry like running a restaurant or anything in the food industry. I'll tell you why it's complicated. In my case, you're selling to high net worth clients, okay, who have a certain standard and quality of life. They expect a certain standard and quality of product, okay? But this product is not made by people who have similar standard quality of life, Like somebody who's making a croissant does not understand the concept of a croissant. You understand? Like he's doing beef parota in his head. He doesn't understand croissant. Or somebody who's making a coffee does not drink coffee. They drink something else.
Was this market there in 2011?
No, I mean, you tell me, was it there?
If I think about it, maybe like a very niche, crowd, like,
Yeah, of 10 people. No, I mean, yes, of course the market was there, because if it wasn't, then I wouldn't survive. But, like you said, it was very nascent, very niche. Like I got pulled up a lot of people said that I'm delusional, because why would you do, who would buy it at this price and all that. But,
so would you still say that this is still for passionate people, this industry, or can somebody who's gotten out of an MBA think about starting a restaurant tomorrow?
Passion you definitely need to get into any business similar to this. I mean, this is a very high intensity, like media, for instance, or being a surgeon, or rescue. It's all very similar, because there's like drama happening every, the moment you open, there's drama happening. So passion you need, otherwise you will not stick with it. I think more than passion, you need to figure out a sense of purpose, because now it's like this year it'll be 15 years. I think 7-8 years out of these 15 years, I didn't know why I was even doing it. Like there was no sense of purpose. So I think that's more critical. The sense of purpose is very important to.
What is this drama that happens behind the scenes? Because I mean, we see the outside of the cafe. We don't even get to see the loud kitchens, and they're not loud kitchens also. So what is this drama? Give me an example of it, maybe.
So I don't know how many of you have been to the Panampally Nagar store. It's a 600 square feet. It's a small store. Now, to execute a menu in that store, I have 3,400 square feet of space behind. Okay, and on top. So there's ground floor and first floor, and there are about 37 people working in that store to be able to execute that menu. So drama, I don't know what kind of drama would you like to hear. There's drama in the kitchen, there's all kinds of, it's by drama I mean, if you look at work ethic especially in our industry, okay, the level of training is really poor. So if I want to pour this water into this glass, ask somebody to do that, you know. First, it's a simple task, right? Open, flip, pour, right? 3 steps. But there will be like 12 steps for somebody who's not organized or who's not, you know. So the basic thing is that constantly from morning to evening, if you're doing a bunch of tasks, it creates a huge mess both physically and mentally, and then you know, and then that restarts again the next day morning.
So when you come from like this corporate hierarchy, when you have to deal with raw talent, how do you go about dealing with that? Because I'm sure in your head it's like the structure and process, but then how do you give that or teach that structure and process to raw talent?
Yeah, so when I started, this was really a big issue. What I did was I explained things to my people in their context. You have to explain to them what is the need for structure or what is the need for, like when we started, I had a CI manual, a corporate identity manual. So it had things to do, not to do, this, that, all my background traits, this, that. And that was about, I think, 60 pages or so, right? So I printed out and gave it to everybody, and I'm like very proud. Then I realized most people don't know how to read. So you have to, it's a very humbling exercise of trying to do that.
So you sort of came from like this successful corporate career, a nice life in Dubai, to move to Kochi and started this cafe and it's running successfully. Let me ask you real business management questions regarding understanding what it means to enter the F&B business. Okay. What is the best part of owning a cafe? There must be something, I'm sure.
Yeah, very simply put, I really enjoy the fact that I'm connected closely with food. I feel that's a big blessing in the sense that I don't think like majority of people even today understand what is food that's nurturing, understand what is food that gives you, balance in the meal. I think because I'm working in the restaurant industry, I know a lot more.
So what is the most uncertain thing about running a restaurant?
Uncertain thing,
Yeah.
the people. And that's also the most difficult thing, I think. It's consistently, every day you have to wake up in the morning and then you have to motivate yourself that, hey, okay, I have a business to run, I have to do this, And then you have to figure out a way to motivate these people who are coming to work also. Like, to make sure that they keep coming and, So that I find that's very tough.
And you've done a pretty good job with talent retention. I mean, I see some of the same people I've seen there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's just a result of being respectful and good with people. It's nothing, like, it's not rocket science. But I didn't start off that way. When I came back to Dubai, my entire perspective was changed after I came here. Kerala like really, whipped me out and beat me and beat the pulp out of me. I was so arrogant when I came here and so kind of delusional, right? It was all about me. It was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to achieve. And slowly living here, and also like I had zero respect for what are these uncles doing. They don't even know how to run a cafe, and so like absolutely zero respect. But it's only when you start living here, you understand the context, you understand, and then like after a few years, I realized, oh my God, all these people who built all these businesses, I mean, they're like really rock stars. It takes a while. It's not like in Dubai, if you go, you see this big building and you're like, wow, okay, this man is like, big job. Here you don't see big buildings or anything, right? Everything's like very subtle under the thing. So then you slowly see.
So from that CI value that you made, I'm sure now you've actually got systems in place, processes in place.
Yeah.
How do you move towards that? When do you move towards that?
So I don't do like an overkill with my systems because my systems have to be executed by people who really have no formal education, right? So these are very bare minimum things that there are people in the structure. Like so, we are a team of close to 100 people now between the 3 outlets, and there might be around 20 people who are in charge of these systems, both sales, production, purchase, all these things, hygiene. So I think I've taken my time with each of these people and kind of sort of trained them over the years.
How much of quality comes from people and how much of it comes from process?
What is the difference?
Like you think, like training those people, and then
Because they are also executing the process, right? I think a big chunk of it is people. What I realized when I came here first was that everybody's asking me this question of, hey, how can you pay so much of money to a chef? How you're kind of basing your entire business on a chef and what that person walks away, or so I think people are trying to do business without being dependent on people because they think process is bigger than the person, which yes, okay, in a certain way is, but it really comes down to the person, right? If the person's happy and the person's motivated, then they will do a really good job of your process. But process is useless if the person is demotivated, and that's what you can see in a lot of like franchise outlets, small McDonald's where okay, just take the fries and go. That's it.
When you started out, there were like probably very few cafes in Kochi. I think we had some of the heritage ones in Kochi, and probably I think before that it was like there was this bakery, and those are the ones where you can get breads, donuts. So I think I stopped now. It's like it.
I think all of them can hear.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty loud, right? Yeah, from the back also, Atul, you hear me? So, if someone was to start a cafe today, what is an advantage that they have that you did when you started?
Now you have a slightly bigger industry as such. A lot of things are easy to, still not very easy, but it's at least there. Like you have suppliers for most of the products, for packaging, for good ingredients. There are people who are providing leaves and all these kind of things, which was non-existent. A huge chunk of stuff I had to import from Dubai or different places, or travel to other states to buy. All that is not needed now. People, it's still difficult to find people today, but like 15 years back it was non-existent. Like, you know, barista was like unheard of. You know, like what is or so, and these jobs, I think nowadays at least a lot of people are, they don't mind, a lot of kids don't mind being in service or, you know, but when I was, I think I was 13 when I started French Toast, and at that point it was disgraceful to be like standing and, you know, kind of saying, like my boss, I remember, literally asked me, are you going to go and say, sir, what do you want? And, you know, is that what you're going to do? I said, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. So I didn't really, I think because in my head, any job, you know, I have respect for all kinds of jobs, so I didn't mind doing any job, but.
You think it's a competitive market?
Yeah, I mean, are you kidding me, really? What you see?
But do you think this competition is good for like innovation?
Of course, yeah. I don't know how much of this really leads to innovation. A big chunk of it is hype. But innovation does happen. Like there are over the past few years, there are a few brands that have, you know, if you look at India as a whole or Kerala in general, in food, there are a lot of people who are trying to do excellent things, right? Small brands popping up. So there is innovation is happening, but not everything is innovative.
What do you think, you know, are some trends around the world that you could potentially bring in and it would work here in Kochi?
So I'm really not a big fan of bringing trends to Kochi because like I think we need to kind of purpose build for this market, right? In the sense that I don't think it's about bringing things from outside to here. I think it's about understanding what your consumer needs or what they value and try and create that for, you know. So
I really have to ask you this because I'm super into automation. But how much automation do you think, you know, cafes could do? And I mean both process driven, but also to the extent of these robo waiters that you see. How much do you think, you know, is going to come in?
does anybody want to answer that question? No, what do you really think? You've seen all those pictures and videos and all that.
But you've seen also like probably cafes in Japan that, you know, and these sushi bars. You really don't need anybody else probably in that.
Is that something you think would still come out here?
I don't know. I mean, if it turns into a very depressing society, maybe it will happen. But I think at least for the next few years, that interaction is really critical. I mean, I know that there are so many people who come to French Toast in Panpali or in Kacheri because they have a relationship that they're maintaining with Bindu or Suja, you know, somebody in the staff. So I think that's a great social animals, no?
So one thing that kept coming in the research
of French Toast is also that it isn't just a cafe. In fact, it starts with the name. Like I said, you and your brother used to eat French toast a lot, and the fact that stale bread turns into like this, you know, creative, reimaginative dish is also a symbol of like sustainability. And first off, do you or your brother make the better toast?
Neither of us.
Yeah.
Neither of us cook, okay? I am not a chef. I couldn't cook to save my life. Like I can make an omelette. That's it. But my point to you is that
Neither does he.
no, I think it's worse.
So when you started French Toast, did you really have like this ethos of sustainability that you wanted to put into the brand as well?
I mean, in my head, because I was a branding consultant, yes, you know, sustainability was a big word at that time, so I wanted to kind of fit in somehow. But really when we started now, none of this thing was pre-thought. A lot of it happened, like, this, I'll give you this French toast, right, for instance, the name, it literally came, like, I was in Dubai, I was chatting with my brother who was in Hyderabad at the time. I was like, hey, we're starting this business and we need a name, and like some random names we were sending, Google searching these names. 5 years ago, this is also boring. And finally he said French toast. I was like, okay, that kind of, I relate with that. I thought it was, it was fun, it was not too aggressive, or you're not trying to be some, like we started off with things like rendezvous, cafe, I said, who will pronounce that? So French toast seemed like, so it was just purely out of instinct that we chose it. But yeah, about 2 years into the business, there was a phase where I had to take over the business, and I thought of French toast as a client, and I did the entire your process as a consultant. You have to ask a certain number of questions, create a brief. So I did that whole thing for French toast, and what I realized was that food wastage is, and wastage in general, was something that really pulled out money from your P&L, So we had to kind of club that and block it. So I felt it would be profitable to create a company culture that focused on recycling and reusing and sustainability in general. And if you look at French toast, essentially that's what it is, right? In European countries, they make bread every day. They, instead of throwing it, they make something more beautiful out of it the next day. So it's like a process of alchemy where you're. So yeah, that's how it.
You speak a lot about real food, even when we just met. You have this drive that the convenience in like what supermarket products bring in, and how we stop making things from scratch because of it. I think you mentioned that it was after like 1991, people before that used to make their own jams, but then we no longer had to, and that became convenient. Can you tell me like what does real food mean to you?
So real food seems like very aggressive way to put it. It's not real or duplicate or anything, but so I'll tell you, like when I was growing up, say when I was like 5 years old, right? I grew up in a place called Café, and there was a farm, and you're growing most of the things. There was a relationship, right? Like, so I know that tomato doesn't come from a can. I know that it comes from a plant, or I think that relationship is almost non-existent today. So I think what I'm trying to comment is that, sorry, your question was
Regarding like real food in terms of
real food, yeah. Yeah. So I think the biggest issue today is that people don't know what they're eating. They think they know, but most people don't know. So real food is food that you grow and you make. You know where the ingredients come from. Like,
so you feel like our relationship with food has changed, and what is like where is that gap? Like where do you think we can fix that gap? Have you gone too deep into that rabbit hole of convenience when it comes to food that it's too hard for us to get out of it? Society-wise also.
I'm gonna hope that I mean, we have education, we are one of the better societies in India, so I'm really hoping and praying that. But I think there needs to be a lot more people in this, race for doing good food. Like I think we need far more farmers. We don't have enough. Like we have very poor farmers, right? Poor farmers meaning like they're doing it because they have no other means to live. And then on the other side, we have like these super intelligent farmers who think like, you know, they will try to control the rain so that they can get this much drop of water and like super. I think we need like what we used to have 40, 50 years back, that culture of having a small backyard farm or that connection with food. I think we need to rebuild. I think if we can manage to do that, I think everything else will. I mean, you will have better supermarket brands if that happens. If you look at places like Southeast Asia, a lot of communities in, like, you know, in Japan, in Thailand, even in Dubai, okay, there is so much of importance given to good food, like basic good food, and they have it, right? But here it's because we've lost that connection, we don't stress on it as much as consumers, that we don't have that option.
Can you tell me about your farm? What do you do? What do you grow there?
It's a small 8-acre farm on a slope. Okay, I inherited it, so I didn't have much of a choice. It's really tough to do farming on a slope, but it's free of pesticides, and I wouldn't call it organic, although I have an organic certification, because my neighbor has a cardamom plantation and he's, you know, kind of building it with this thing, and you know, the pesticides and all will travel through underground. But yeah, it's basically I'm just starting vegetables now, but I've got spices and fruits that I've been doing for about 10 years now. Yeah, it's a small experiment.
How's life as a farmer?
It's excellent. It's excellent because I really enjoy the lifestyle. It's very adventurous. It's very different from like sitting in an office. I mean, for me that's very boring. So I think it's great.
How do you think we can bring back dignity into the profession of a farmer, especially, you know, the youth here? I'm going to ask you to solve society's problems.
But I'm still curious what you think of how we can tackle this.
I think through knowledge, like really, I think we were having this conversation before, right? When we were sitting there, that I think number one, most people don't even acknowledge that there's a problem. They don't want to even see, okay, there's no problem in life. So first is you have to come out of that and acknowledge that, okay, this is a problem. How can we provide dignity of labor? You know, basic mutual respect. Basic. That only comes through experience, I feel. Me as an individual, the only thing I could do is show that as an example to the 100 people who are working with me. So I can hope to make a small difference there. And then, you know, if more people do that at their level, eventually this will happen.
Do you think we'll eventually return to slow food, seasonal menus and stuff like that?
100%.
How long? How long?
That's up to you. No, 100%. I think that's what the cycle is, and that's why I'm building my brand and I'm building it slow. Because at some point, Kerala has the money, okay? We have the people, we have the intellect. I think we have too much of it, like, too much smart people. So it's just bound to, they will eventually find out that, okay, we don't want to go to the hospital and we want to start spending on good food, and like the moment people understand that how critical gut is to their every problem, like I can trace your depression back to your matapaf. Okay, I mean quite literally. Like if you're having a bad day, it's 90% chances are it's because you've eaten some crappy stuff the previous night, or you know, you're dehydrated, or
How is your relationship? You mean, if not now, before, then? When did you think it went bad? We will know that you need to fix it.
At 40, and that was I think when during COVID is when I hit 40. Suddenly there was this thing that like suddenly I couldn't lose weight and I was like, what the hell is happening? And then I started reading up on like what happens to men at 40, and then some people said, oh, it's probably your gut slowing down. That's when I actually kind of realized that okay, I can't mess around now because like if my body digested parotta and beef in 5 hours before, now it will take like 2 days or so that's when that's when it really happened, unfortunately. It's something that you have to keep doing every day for the rest of your life. When you get there, you. I'm not going to talk about this much.
Would you consider French toast as a sustainability brand? Do you think you put out that image consciously?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I really don't know what people think about French toast, and like I get asked this a lot because I'm on the other side, right? Like I don't know what you think of me because you never come and tell me, hey, so everything French toast. So I'm constantly kind of firefighting, and the way we firefight is a very sustainable way in the sense that it's important to treat people well, your customers as well as your people who work with you. So the sustainability values are ingrained. I mean, we hate wastage. Most of us hate, yeah, but it's really not about money. I think we need to get that. Like I get this in Kerala a lot. Like everybody tries to reduce the thing down to the money, but I've been in the other side. Okay, so I know, for instance, like in 2007, I was handling about 100 million dirhams worth of advertising per year for different clients. Okay, and but it was 110 or something per year. And very honestly, if you ask me, did this 100 million dirhams really do any help whatsoever to any human being, right? I mean, as an agency, we made money. That's it. I don't really think it helped the customers build any kind of connection or it helped them in any way. So I think we need to kind of shift our lens to focusing on a good quality of life rather than money, because it really. The first time I was able to buy a luxury car, I opened the door, I sat inside and I was like, okay, fine, it's not really doing too much. Okay, it's a fancy car, but does it really give you happiness? It won't. I'm telling you. Maybe for like 2 hours, but after that it comes down.
Right. Why we titled this section as like a branch plan is also because you brought, Belgian courses on it here. You brought Montblanc pastries, you brought sourdough bread also to an extent. How do you decide, which works here, which won't? Is it like trial and error, or I feel like there's these you do?
Something I think I do very differently, and this is a big advantage of being a small brand, right? Is that I can choose for myself what I want to do, and every single product in French toast, from the tartlet to like whatever, every single product is based on the palette that I like and what I want. So I don't want matcha, I don't keep matcha. Okay, it's not, I mean, the arrogant kind of parayla, but in life you have to choose, you constantly keep giving the customer what he or she wants. I mean, if you are a doctor, would you do that? like, doctor, I have a stomach ache, can you give me some? Like, no, it doesn't work like that, right? So clearly I have far more knowledge about the food context, about what ingredients are available in this market, I know what is best for you, okay? So when I decide to build a sandwich, for instance, I choose to use the sourdough bread because I know that most of us have diabetes, okay? We need food with low glycemic index. So I choose sourdough bread instead of like a regular whatever. I know that in our restaurants and in our food there is no balanced meals. So instead of offering fries with my sandwich, I am offering a small portion of green leaf salad. Okay. So I'm saying I'm taking these decisions after understanding what I feel we need. So it doesn't kind of depend on, okay, customer wants this, so.
But how have those needs changed from when you started with the thing?
Oh, it's, there is a lot, like, I'll give you an example. When we started, when I did research, one of the things I realized was that Kerala had one of the highest occurrence of child diabetes. Okay. I think Trivandrum at that time was the highest. So, what we decided to do was to bring down the sugar level in all the dessert that we were doing. So at that time, for instance, pastries used to be 35 or 40 rupees, like a slice of cake used to be that much, okay? And that it was like that because people weren't using, they were using premixes, they were not making a cake from scratch, they were using like compound chocolate instead of the real deal, and that is what was making the sugar level go up. So then we created a completely new product, built cakes from scratch so that we can control the sugar level. And that ended up costing a lot more. Like I think I had a slice for 150 rupees. And somebody actually even abused me. He said, "You're so arrogant, why would you price it that much?" Like he had no idea that this. But
And today, you think people more accepting?
yeah, I think marginally. There's a lot of hype. See, in my industry, there's a lot of hype. Like every December, you will see restaurants and cafes popping up. Now the Binale is happening in Kochi. Okay, so suddenly I've seen since last month there are cafes that are putting up Instagram handles saying we've been here since forever and whatever, some nonsense. So it's
how,
hype.
especially when you started off, I think being copied gives you both validation, but also maybe a sense of betrayal. How did you deal with that? Because when you did start off, there were a lot of things that were being copied from you.
Copying. Yeah. That is, yeah. I mean, I guess that's, it's a normal.
So do you still try to protect your ideas or?
So I try to protect my philosophy. I don't try to protect my products. What I did for copying was when I came initially here, there was a lot of big this thing about you should protect your recipe. I put that Mont Blanc recipe in Vanita magazine so that everybody has access to it. Okay, because when you actually make that cake, you'll realize how difficult it is. You'll try to make it once, and then you'll come back to it. That's what the truth is.
Your chefs, they play a massive role.
Yeah.
What is it working with the creative personality, strong creative personality? Especially when you want to make the calls yourself.
Honestly, I think this creative personality chefs are only on Instagram. When it comes to real life, right, you need people who can do the same thing again and again and again every single day. So you'll be like a really boring person. But as you also have to be like a little crazy if you have to choose to sit and do bread as like a career, So they're very exciting people. I find that very interesting. Like my work colleagues are far more exciting than my friends. So I enjoy it. We do a lot of uh, outdoor stuff like to the farm. We have potlucks. So it's a small community. We do a lot of things together. So it's fun.
Is French toast coming up with something new that we should be all excited about?
No. I'm in the business of doing the same thing over and over again every day. So it's, yes, next year, hopefully, the Munar plant will take up more, so I'm hoping to set up a small cafe in ourselves. That should be exciting.
Can you tell me about the Kochi Party space? Because I think that actually set up like more of a community space also, because you have so many things that happen there. Was that the intention? Like, did you want to build that community there?
Yeah, in fact, there's a very vibrant community in Parvati also. And there are people who come every day. They're hanging out there. There's a table. The conversations happen on a daily basis. The same thing is there. This Kacheri place, I think during COVID, the movement was restricted and it was very difficult. People had to be at home, and so I think at that time that community really developed in Kacheri. It was a place that people would come to this, play Ludo. I remember Ludo in COVID.
Did you have that intention in mind, or did you got that space? Because it was
Yeah.
much larger than the one.
So if you look at the branding, it's called Kitchen and Studio. So the idea was to do things that was that I feel like in food. There are some things that I really feel the community needs. Like I think I look at mothers and fathers all the time, and I think that we really need a child. What do you call it? Like, huh? Yeah, like a play area. What I mean, because if you have kids, and I'm sure most people agree, I mean, it's difficult, the first 10 years, it's mad. Two girls, but they are very chill. I'm saying I can see, so like mothers come to the cafe and they just let the kids go off. Even sometimes fathers, they let the kids go off because they just want some free time. So those are things like that the city needs. So those kind of things, like there's this baby sensory thing that we do in Kacheri that happens twice a week. Mothers with small kids, they come there. So things like that. That was the idea.
I think it's been 14 years now since you did it.
Yeah.
Where do you like to eat? What dish from where? You don't have to be bad.
No, I mean, there are a lot of small places in Patanjali and Kochi which I think still does really good food. But here, I realized that the old school people, right, like the casino and the Avenue Regent and Abad Plazas, they actually do some exceptional food. It's just you don't know about it because you're busy looking at like my if I want noodles or fried rice, okay. Even today, it's that place in Avenue Regent. I think it's called Spring Restaurant. I order from there, yeah, because I know consistently that they are probably maintaining a basic decent kitchen.
Would you choose Springs over brand?
Would I choose what?
Springs over brand? Restaurant brand?
I mean, I put all these things in the same kind of bracket in my head. So it's grand is great if you want to like have, yeah. But vegetarian is
a better place.
there are a lot of better places. So I think until, but by the way, Grand is like it's such an underrated place. It's run so well. It's got people who've been there working. Everybody has a story about Grand Hotel. So
You sort of scaled French toast.
unique way in the sense not fast and aggressive, but like slow, like intentional. What did like each shop that you set up teach you?
What did each shop that teach me? So
The second one was.
I'll just summarize this whole thing into one.
Yeah.
I'll put it in context for you, okay? For me, the journey is to climb a mountain, okay? So right now, according to me, 2011 I was at base camp, and then 14 years down, I'm at camp 1, okay? Now I'm moving out of camp 1, going up to camp 2, okay? So that journey started, and it's slow, and maybe I will reach the summit by the time I hit the bucket or something, I don't know. But it's a slow, steady, massive journey.
How much should cafe scale? Don't you think there are like
it's not just about cafes, about when you reach the point of scalability, right? I think the moment it stops making sense to you, like I remember that when we started, everybody around me had told me that you have to give franchises, you have to do more business and all that. So I went and started something in in Info Park. I got a franchisee and got him to do it, and then another one in Kakinad, and it was such a disaster. Oh my God, like I shut down in like 6 months or something. I said, I can't do this. So yeah.
You sort of built something iconic. Do you now ever plan to open a shack?
A shack?
Yeah.
That's my retirement plan, I think. So I really feel that our Kerala food, right? There are still very, very, very few places that do exceptional Kerala food. Most of it is in houses, because when a mother is really cooking, she puts in all her effort and she doesn't cut any corners. There are a few restaurants, very, very few restaurants. So I really want to do a nice, like matti, with a bit of a small shack at some point.
I'm going to let you guys also have opportunities to ask some questions, but I have one final one.
I think let them breathe.
But let me just ask you, like, if, is there another kind of food experience you want to achieve and sort of embrace? Or you think we should just stick to, what we're doing right now, which is our own food?
Sorry.
Is there something newer that you think we need to embrace as a society when it comes to food? Something like, maybe a different cuisine, or using us solid.
I mean, it would be great. It would be great that we have great restaurants in Kochi. It would be great for us, right? So I would totally support that. But it's very difficult. It's not the only place around the world where I've seen people are executing good food from different parts of the world is the Gulf. Like Dubai, because the logistic system from all over the world into Dubai is so amazing. So they can manage to recreate really good Korean or African or any kind of food. But in here it will be difficult. So
I think it's also because of the very diverse population. People from all over the world also. So everybody comes with their most authentic food.
I mean, you can come with your most authentic food, but you can't recreate it if you don't have a logistic supply chain. Like in 2011, 2012, I had 4 chefs, 1 Italian, 2 Moroccans, 1 pizza specialist come down here to create, things like croissant and all that. And they are, like Fiona was the world pizza champion at that time in Las Vegas. So they are masters of their craft, okay. They came here, and like the 2 days before, we had recreated everything in Dubai. We had a meeting in the kitchen there, and so I said, okay, this is the product that I want. And then we packed our bags, came to Kochi, and then we realized that we don't have ingredients to work with. Like the ingredients that we have are very different. Like, So to give you context, this croissant, right? Croissant is a very technical thing. Like you have to really take care of it like a baby. Or when you make a croissant, the dough, the temperature of the dough should not go up. It shouldn't heat up too much. So you have to maintain a really cold space. Then put butter, layer it, and all that. Okay. It needs a particular type of flour. Now, till like maybe 2 years back, we didn't have any specialty flour here. So I'm doing a croissant with a flour that is made for paratha. So if you bring an Italian or a French person here and ask them to recreate a croissant, they will fail miserably. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not that knowledge is not just enough. You have to figure out how we can do it here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are tired of my questions, but we can take some from a couple of you if you have any questions.
First of all, guys, I'm sorry I didn't get the chance. Thank you so much for sitting down and listening and giving me this opportunity also to speak. I didn't thank you. No, my pleasure, of course.
Any questions you guys want to take one? That mic is off.
My friends and I are a huge fan of your strawberry French toast. That's only one best thing I got from Instagram. And my question is that if you were about to restart from scratch French toast, what is the one thing that you would do differently?
There's no one thing. I think there's so many things.
I mean, you can say more than one. I just said one thing.
I really don't know if somebody can prepare you for an entrepreneur's journey. Okay. It would be amazing if I had the mind frame to hear, because I'm sure people are giving me valuable advice, but I didn't listen. So I think that is one. So if you have patience and if you have this thing, then get into entrepreneurship. Otherwise,
Yeah, I have doesn't work.
Yeah.
I know. I've been offering him my mic. And I don't know.
Yeah, then I just speak loud.
Yes.
So I want to know, since you said 15 years you've started this brand before. Now we have health conscious, wellness oriented customers. But 15 years back when you brought in this menu, like how did you go about curating such a menu with salads? I mean, French toast, yes, because the name says it, that has to be there. But other than that, the salads, and just to curate such a niche menu 15 years back, like how did you come about doing that when it was not so common here?
It's a very simple answer. I think I tried to touch upon this earlier also. You will reach a point where, if you're doing business, where from one side there are things that you understand. Being there, you understand that these are things that you have to do, and then people tell you, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. How did I curate? I think it was I really did a lot of research, because in advertising you have to do tons of research at all levels, okay, to actually figure out what the problems are and all that. So in this market, I did a lot of research to understand who the consumer is. I was very clear from the start that I don't want to sell to people who don't have money, because I don't have time to, if I was a rich man, I would sell to poor people. But I'm a poor man, so I try to sell to rich people, right? So that was clear first. And rich people had a very, they had money. In the sense, I could see that you're spending on cars like Mini Cooper and all that, even though we don't have roads. we were spending on it, but our health and lifestyle had like hit, rock bottom. So then I looked at restaurants, I looked at menus, I saw what people were offering, and there was one thing that predominantly most of the restaurants were trying to kind of feed off this gluttony, okay? Because as a restaurant, it's a very easy job if you try and feed gluttony, like you create hype, okay? For instance, if I want you to like my sandwich better, okay, like currently if I have a hot chicken sandwich on my menu, okay, if I want you to like it better, I can add a little more salt, okay, add a little more spice because I know exactly what it tastes, palate is, okay, and I can make you like it, and you love it and you'll rave about it and all that, okay. But it's not great for your stomach. And if you are older than 40, you probably will not come back to FD also. Because, after having the sandwich, you're like, okay, I felt nice while having it, but like after that, I'm not kind of feeling it. So, I think the answer is research, like tons of research to figure out what we want to put on the menu.
And also the risk that you took to price it at that level 15 years back. Because I feel like, would you think a salad at that time, you knew that there was a customer, like a niche crowd for it. So that was also based on research?
Yeah,
or was it a risk?
I'll tell you what, I think it might seem like it is a big risk, but for me it wasn't. My job was, as a consultant, was to understand consumer behavior. So I used to, so I've studied that a lot. So I know that when you say that you want this, what you actually want is this. Okay, so and what I realized about the Malayali consumer is that because we have high levels of literacy, right? There's a lot of knowledge. So we know what is good. Okay, we just will not accept it if you just give me a substandard stuff. But if something is good, and even if it doesn't make sense, a Malayali will pay money. It's a thing about our culture, I feel. I don't know.
Thank you.
Ayaz, I have a question. Do you want to
No, you
go
go first. Yeah.
Simple. How did you get those chechis to stay? Because compared to most of the other cafes and restaurants, you don't employ young people. There are some young people, but there are some chechis who I see in both of the stores. They've been there for ages and they're very different from the kind of people who are waitresses in other places. So how did you decide to have them and how do you keep them?
It's really, I think it's, how do you do it at home?
I don't have a choice at home. And my parents, the old people.
No, I'm saying this, yeah. Exact same thing. I have no choice. Okay. I have to beg, borrow, plead to make sure that, because it's my need, right? I have invested money, I want to run the place, okay? About people, this actually is a great question because in Dubai, if you're in a business, I mean, if you're working somewhere, you're committed for 3 years, you can't leave that business. But here, that's not the case. So, to put it succinctly, I'll tell you that it's a mixture of
Beg, borrow, plead.
yeah, and I mean it's about being genuine, like really. Chechis are, I mean, you only see two in the
Two in
thing.
Panpudi and there is.
Yeah, so there's a big bunch of people from Panagar who work with me. So they come, most of them are in the kitchen. And yeah, so it's really, I think it's about mutual respect, relationship building, right, and being genuine. Like they need to know that you will be there to support them when they have need. After COVID, a lot of people who I thought will leave me stuck around because they saw how I behaved with them when I didn't like really need them, you know. So that way the work culture is very tight. And then you're knocking on comma right now. How did COVID? I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I had more faith in God after COVID because I really don't know. It was tough initially, but in retrospect, actually, yeah. Because the first few 2-3 months, kind of restlessness and you don't know what's happening, you pay salaries and all that. That was very tough. But after that, things kind of, and people understood also, like suppliers understood, our employees understood, they made their family understand. Thankfully, we were blessed that way.
Yeah, so you mentioned how restaurant businesses tend to be like, you're doing the same thing every day, right? So doesn't it get monotonous? Do you get burnt out, or like how do you deal with the burnout?
Trekking?
Checking, yeah.
Yeah, because like everybody has their own thing. For me, it's getting back to nature, trekking. Every time I have to make a big decision, like before I open a new outlet or whatever, I go really big trek, and that just puts things into perspective. Because when you go trekking, right, you can't be the boss. You have to carry your own weight. You have to like slog, so it really kind of puts you into, say, you are nothing. You don't have these expectations. So that is how I need to go.
My question, I'm just asking on behalf of my friend. She is one of your regular customers. She goes to Panampally French Toast every day. The minute she arrives, her drink will appear before her because they know exactly what she drinks. It's iced mocha. But I think the only problem she has is that there's no Wi-Fi for her to sit and actually work. So she wanted me to ask you if you have plans to introduce Wi-Fi. She can work.
Somebody has plans to introduce Starlink with Elon Musk. I think the Wi-Fi will not be a topic of this thing anymore, at least in the next, I think, 3-4 months. Everybody will have satellite links. But no, I've kept it out here because honestly, like see, there are some things that we have to kind of be that tough teacher, and we have to push it and do it. Otherwise, if you let people do whatever they want, they'll like lie down there and eat cake and whatever. You have to kind of enforce decorum. No, it's true, and I don't judge anybody for it. Like if I would do the same thing if life was tough, right? So Wi-Fi, I've kept that out of the, unless you have some crazy urgent email that you will send, and it's
I'm sure her emails can wait because she's a freelance writer.
So it's that, I think. So I take that freedom. A lot of people complain that I'm too much like a principal when it comes to that. But I think that's important. I think she will thank me later.
Health persona, right, which I've spoken about right now, I don't, so it's probably my issue, I don't know. I've not associated French toast to a health kind of, or I've never seen you do any kind of aggressive marketing on that. For me, French toast is a cozy place where we go. If you have, a cozy, bit expensive place, but there are other alternatives. And when I think about it, those places, the food tastes slightly better again.
No, I don't personally prefer it.
Yeah, so what your point is true. Though it is, the sugar is really sugary, the spicy stuff is really spicy. So this health side, right? And I don't see you advertising. Is it a conscious thing that you are not advertising it?
Sir, I don't advertise because that mass communication model doesn't really work for me because I only have 3 outlets. So the amount of money I spend in creating a good piece of advertising will not. I won't be able to sell enough burgers or this thing too. But I have a question back for you. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking. Okay, when you reach 40, right? All these things will start making sense to you. At 27, when I was 27, for instance, if I had have seen a place like French Toast, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I can take my girlfriend there, but that's about it. Okay, right? It is, yeah. So, but as you increasing, of course, if you're lucky enough to have a mom or a wife or somebody or you yourself cook, nothing like it. But if you don't, and I think most people going forward will not have great home cooked meals, you will slowly start realizing what is the food that, you will start choosing food that digests more easily. That will be your, So, if you can eat 4 parathas now, paratha and beef, you will like 7. So I had done 13. So I totally get gluttony. I know I used to be a basketball player, so after a match in Malappuram and all, this is I've done that. But I think as you age, right, and I think women more so than men. Like men it takes till 40, but I think women understand it before. And also because women cook more than men, so they also understand by looking at the food how it is beneficial. So Adana, I feel that is
maybe one last question. The last 2 questions, or the last 3 questions. Or maybe we'll call it after that.
When you first decided to start off, I don't think it was really easy because you being an employee and then starting off something on your own. Were you did you reach financial security and then you thought, okay, now it's time? And one was called out, you were a branding consultant and you had mentioned that brand about a few of the major outlets where the OGs and they are very underrated today. So if you are a brand consultant to them today, what changes would you make for these brands?
I don't know if I would change anything because they're all masters of their craft and they've developed their models and systems after so many years of experience. But I think as a consultant, probably I would try and understand their new audience a little better. It's not the same person who is coming to eat food. Person today the audience is different. Their perspective is different. So I think I would try and communicate better. If there was one thing that I would do, I would communicate. After a point of time, Grand and all that, they've been just doing things for so many years. If you go and speak to the owner, I don't know. So that is difficult. But if I don't know them personally. I'm just saying. So, but if his daughter or son is taking over and wants to refresh things, I think communication is very very key. Communicate the right things. What was the first question?
Financial security.
Financial security, honestly, yes, I made a lot of money in Dubai, but I invested and I kind of broke everything in doing this French toast and living here and all that. And in about 3 years after opening French toast, I had a huge crisis in the sense that this business didn't make sense to me. I didn't feel like staying in it. I wanted to get out of it, and I did it back and then I came back and everything made sense. But at that point, I remember driving back from Panambali to Devara, I used to stay there and I had 100 rupees in my pocket, right? And I didn't have, like, my savings are wiped out. So I have reached this thing, and then it slowly came back up. So, no, there was no financial security. But it wasn't great. There was financial security, I could work in peace. My mental health would be a little better. Sorry.
Yeah, so my question is that you started French stores at the time where your cafes were very, very less. So you knew what you wanted to make, but like you said, you didn't know how to cook, your brother didn't know how to cook. But how important was hiring top talent at that time? Because at that time, I'm not sure if chefs were available as much as it is today. So how important was hiring top talent?
So that is extremely, even today it's extremely important. I think the thing is, as an entrepreneur or if you're heading a business, you need to know how important or how critical it is to the business. So I happened to meet Shruti. Shruti was our executive chef for about 10 years. After that, she came in as a customer, and because she saw that we were using this Kochi chocolate. So at that time, it was even in Bombay, nobody is using Kochi chocolate. So she was a chef working in Bombay, a Malayali. She came, she saw we had a conversation, and then I offered her a job with money that I didn't have. But even at that time, I remember a lot of people telling me that you're doing this the wrong way, you're investing, like you're putting your faith in an employee. But I was an employee, and I know that employees are not like some evil people who will steal your money and go. It was the best decision of my life.
One more question. So like when you're hiring top talent and you just started off, how did you convince like a top chef to work for you when you're small, when you just started off, and you're like convincing them? Is it just the money or giving them a sense of purpose, like we will grow, or like you will grow with them?
Yeah. So as a big company in if you're in food, for instance, okay, if you're a Unilever or P&G or Philip Morris, Kraft, whatever, when they're hiring you, they can offer you a really good salary, okay, but they can't offer you a sense of purpose, because the product that they're selling, once you work in their companies for a few years, you'll understand that you're essentially selling poison to people, okay. So the only advantage that small people like us have is that we can give them a sense of purpose and say that, hey, you're going to make a difference in the community. And when we're selling this, when I'm selling it to her, even I myself don't know if I'm pushing myself or is this gonna. So I think it's a faith which you need to have, and you go with that. And thankfully it's worked out for us.
Thank you.
Last question.
So on behalf of all second and third generation entrepreneurs here, you had mentioned that you will working as a man consultant, and you've been closely working with a lot of second, third generation entrepreneurs. So how do you help them find purpose in business?
So I can't help you find purpose. You have to help yourself. But I will tell you, and I will try and keep it very simple because I think you've already taken up so much time. When you move from that phase that when you're doing for yourself, like when I started off in French toast, it was all about me, right? It still is to a large extent about me, but when it is all only about you, you don't know how you fit into the larger context of things, right? So, what building purpose means essentially in whatever business line you are in, like if you're making slippers or if you're in consulting or whatever, is you need to understand how you help other people change their life. I think once you make that bridge, then slowly you will find purpose. But yeah, I mean that's a long, conversation. It's not gonna.
I think he's going to stay after the session or something.
I don't need to send it over. I'm not using it now. You guys can.
We're going to let Setu have that last question and then
Hi. Hi. Thank you for this coming down, and this is really nice talk. So I want to know, when you're starting out a business which you do not have an experience in the niche. So I want to know 3 things about it. Like, how do you get the expertise? Because having passion and being good at something are 2 different things. So how to develop the experience or expertise? Second thing is that how to develop a system that can be scalable or that can be functionable without you being self-employed and you're running a business. The difference of being self-employed and being a business person. Third thing is that when you do not know anything about your niche, how do you plan your deadlines? Like, for example, if you're researching about it, the research is infinite. And whenever you plan deadlines, sometimes we plan it, it can go overboard. Sometimes we do not need that much of time. So how do you plan that?
So I'll start with the last one, okay? If you're trying to plan without having experience, okay, don't even bother. You cannot plan. Especially like my title in advertising used to be account planner, okay? So you can imagine it was all about planning for me because I knew I could control the outcomes in so many cases. But when I came to entrepreneurship, when I had to set deadlines, like I'd say, okay, outlet has to be open in 3 months because I've done a project map and these are the scope of work. But then, how can you plan for Ayaz Salim in the English and I can't come to work? How do you plan for that, right? So you can't. So I think try. I really feel that this generation is being too intense on delivering and like you guys just wanna just do it, So I think you have to take it easy on yourself and consider it, if possible, as a game. Okay, because business, the way they make it out to be, okay, like it's so serious and wow, if you do this, you lose 10 crores or that and this and okay, if you lose, you lose. But you have to have the mindset that it's okay. And especially in India, because in India where we're building industries, we don't have established infrastructure. Like in Dubai, I had this mentality of let's get this done. Impossible is nothing, and all those kind of random stuff, right? It's possible in Dubai because Dubai has created a infrastructure environment. It's built support systems so that you can, when you say that I'll be at the meeting at 9:10, you will be there. You have no excuses, right? But here, can you do that? No. Yeah. Till as Indians, I think till we reach that level, I don't think it's so. The biggest example I take is I know so many people who drive Lamborghinis and supercars, right? But and I love supercars. I used to handle Porsche in advertising and Volkswagen Audi for a long time. But you cannot enjoy it here because you don't have the roads. But I'm saying we need to focus on building roads, not on like buying expensive cars and so I think we need to be a little. The whole fun of working in India, honestly, is that we can chill out and work. Really, I mean, I think for the 10 years in branding that I did in Dubai, right? Like, I didn't have time to breathe. At 3 a.m. we'll be sitting in a bar, sitting with some client, okay, taking down notes on a napkin, and then at 9 a.m. you're presenting to the same client, okay, in your corporate office. So it's mad, it didn't make sense. When I came here, things were like, okay, it's okay to chill out, you know, let's build slowly.
But I guess I don't know whether this is with our generation or is it with everyone. I feel like when you have that time to breathe, there is this inherent guilt that comes with it that you're not doing enough.
Yeah, that is toxicity. Okay, understand that it is toxicity. Okay, you need to remove that from it. And it's fear. It comes from an inner space of fear, right? You need to be able to move away from that and focus on the solution or on what is achievable. I still get it. I'm still trying to deal with it. If I'm in this city and if I don't go to French toast in the morning, okay, and if I'm lying in bed, you know, like I lose money. The people think that have I become rich, that I don't have to go to my store. It's toxic. I think just my solution to that again is like trekking or listening to music or just go it out of the way.
Thank
Thank you so much. Can you give a round of applause, please? It's nice to hear you. Really open up to us. Thanks so much for talking to us. We really appreciate it. A small token on our behalf. Can I call Anju to come give you this as from KMA? But there is someone who thank you so much for having us. Yeah, we also tend to take a selfie with the group. But just before that, I just wanted to say a couple of things. KMA's conclave is coming up. As you know, it's happening in January on the 15th.
This is like how the ad comes.
It's on the first half of January. Tickets are out. You should check it out. Also, last month we had a session where a lot of the members went for a heritage walk in Kochi with our main man, Johan. And this weekend we're playing pickleball, some of us. So if you want to join also, feel free to join pickleball. But do let Josh know if you're interested. And thank you all also for coming. We'll just take one big selfie with you as well, and then we can call. And we can have dinner for some of us. Yeah, sure. You teach that to me.